Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. As you see these six beautiful ladies of SmackDown, they compete in a six-pack challenge. Which one of these ladies will be walk out as the new No One contender for the SmackDown Women's Champion and meet Ronda Rousey at the Survivor Series coming up, as well as the WWE World Cup. The WWE World Cup tournament starts tonight on SmackDown. It was announced last week. We know that a lot of participants in this World Cup, stars from SmackDown, Raw, you name it. They're on as former champions, former world champions, intercontinental champions, US champions, tag champions, NXT champions. They're all in this tournament. We'll talk about it coming up as well. But we know one of the matches in the World Cup start turning, and it's going to start with Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Santos Escobar in the World Cup. That's going to start. That's going to get things started. But we're going to get things started with this breaking news. The Usos defending the tag team championship against the New Day that will kick off SmackDown. Can the Usos become the longest reigning WWE tag team champions of all time? They're inching up to demolition. We'll talk about it as the SmackDown Ring Report starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Like I said, this is the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Like I said, this is a historic Pro Wrestling Show. We're talking about the road to Survivor Series. Survivor Series is not far away. Like I said, Pro Wrestling Show is that we're going to cover everything Survivor Series, and I mean everything Survivor Series. This is the big block. Even SmackDown getting its own World Cup. I mean, it's been done before, but now SmackDown in the fray of things with the World Cup situation. But like I we're here. We thank you all for watching. Now we had got word right here from WWE.com on Twitter saying that's kicking off the show right here. The Usos taking on the New Day for the tag team championship. We know that the Usos and New Day have been running it back for a long time, and a long time indeed. This is the match that many people know that exists for so long. Their rivalry almost go beyond like at least 5 years to, if you ask me, 5 years to this date. The New Day, the Usos, they have been trailing each other for a long time and a long time coming. And let's see if we can okay, let's see if we can get that right now with the Usos and New Day. We're gonna show that right here. This is the match right here that kicked off SmackDown. Not this match, but this match right here for the Tag Team Championship, the Undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. The New Day challenging the Usos for the Tag Team titles. And what a Tag Team Championship match it was! It was nonstop, almost for like 45 minutes of storytelling by the Usos and the New Day. I had my money on the Usos because the Usos are gunning. They are the best tag team. Nothing against New Day. New Day has been a good tag team, but the Usos are on another level when it comes to tag team wrestling. Even their cousin Roman Reigns was watching from afar in his own locker room, watching the Usos defend the tag team championship. The Usos, like you said, look at the history right here. This is the history between the Usos and New Day. Now, this is not the right one. We're going to show you the right one right here. This is the you see Kofi Kingston trying to get a pinfall attempt. It was like pinfall back and forth at the pinfall. This is the history right here of the New Day and the Usos. Look back right here. They've been fighting each other for almost nearly 8, 10 years. Who can forget the tag team championship Hell in a Cell match? That was a good match. Um, Recently, day one when they had the tag team, the SmackDown tag team titles online. So they've been battling out for the SmackDown tag team titles for quite some time. And the Usos defeated the New Day to retain their tag team championships. The Usos on the road. The Usos continue to dominate the tag team division. The Usos have that mark that they surpass on Monday. They will be coming up as one of the longest reigning tag team champions. Bigs up to the New Day for giving their all, but it just wasn't quite fitting that the Usos won the match and still are the remaining undisputed tag team champions. So big ups to them. Speaking of that, we had an encounter where LA Knight encountered Bray Wyatt. I was a little bit shocked and surprised, like, oh, what's going to go down? Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, jaw jacking each other, talking. Bray Wyatt issue warning that he's crazy. LA Knight saying that he's crazy. Both men are crazy, and their counter is going to be real good to see that. Bray Wyatt, LA Knight going to really tear each other down, tear each other apart, limb by limb. We just can't wait to see it. When that match going to happen? It might happen at Survivor Series if given the opportunity. And you tell LA Knight, not LA Knight got hit in the headbutted by Bray, what Bray had said. So we'll see that. Speaking of that, we know that it was the WWE done a World Cup. These are the participants of the WWE World Cup, the SmackDown World Cup. Mustafa Ali from Raw, Shinsuke Nakamura, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn, and Pete Dunne, Butch. So we know that even whoever wins get a shot at Intercontinental Champion Gunther for number one contender match. They win the trophy and earns themselves the right to become the new number one contender for the Intercontinental title. But we know that Gunther had his eye on Ricochet, who he won the belt from, and Ricochet ain't slide back down with Gunther and what Gunther was saying about him. Could we see a Intercontinental Championship rematch between these two men? Only time will tell. But the tournament started on the SmackDown World Cup, started with this. Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar and Shinsuke Nakamura battling out for who's going to advance to meet the do you know who? Advance to meet the next round. And the match was fast and furious. Shinsuke Nakamura returning back with the yellow tracksuit from Kill Bill and stuff. But you gotta think about it. This is what this is. The SmackDown World Cup, the WWE World Cup, and exclusive to SmackDown, unless it was exclusively. But at the end, Santos Escobar advances and moves on to the SmackDown World Cup series. We don't know who he's gonna take on, but it was something. It was something indeed for real. But Santos moves on. But it was another match, the impromptu match that we didn't see coming. We saw Braun Strowman entering the cup. I don't even know how Braun Strowman got qualifications on what winning of this cup. Well, he took on Jinder Mahal and took him down by piece by piece. He got rid of Jinder Mahal, powerbomb Jinder Mahal with that slam and got the win. Braun Strowman advances on to the cup. Now we know that Braun Strowman and Santos Escobar are in. Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura are out. Braun Strowman, we don't know who he's going to face, and it's going to be quite scary for one of these men. Or can we see it running down too? But we could see this. We know next week on SmackDown, this is a battle of high flyers, aerial artists. Mustafa Ali taking on Ricochet, as Braun Strowman like to call. Braun Strowman made that comment the last couple of days ago about having good matches and disgracing the aerial flyers. Well, Braun might put his money where his mouth is, but we know that Ricochet and um, Mustafa Ali can go, and they can go, and they gonna go next week on SmackDown. Which one of these high flyers will advance to go on to the SmackDown World Cup between Ricochet and Mustafa Ali? We'll find out. Also, too, Sami Zayn returns. He wasn't there tonight. We'll tell you a little bit why. But he takes on Butch, Sami Zayn, Butch, 1-on-1 next week on the World Cup Series. So we'll see that match as well. Well, we know this. It was a six-pack women's challenge. Who was going to advance to meet Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series? Which one of these gorgeous women was going to meet Ronda Rousey? Well, these women put their bodies put the body on the line. We saw Liv Morgan tried to do a botched table spot, try to take what's her name, Raquel Gonzalez down, but that didn't end well for Raquel, for her, as Chauncey won her match. Chauncey beat all five women to advance, and Chauncey will meet Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title at Survivor Series. Chauncey looking forward to getting her opportunity at the Women's Championship. Well deserved. Chauncey get this opportunity of a lifetime at the Survivor Series. We'll see that. But Shotzi, looking good and looking well too. So Shotzi getting the opportunity that she richly deserved. I thought Liv Morgan was going to win, but Liv Morgan got a lot of crazy problems going on, being killed by Chucky and Duke. There's a lot going on. Well, we know that Shotzi got choked out by Shayna Baszler after Chauncey was talking to Emma. Emma wanted to see if Madcap Moss was around. We know that they're a couple in real life. Guess they're trying to do a couple storyline, but Chauncey got in the mix of it. Chauncey paying for it after she got choked out by Ronda's best friend, um Shayna Baszler. Now we know next week Shayna Baszler will take on Chauncey next week. Which one will Chauncey gets the momentum going for her match against Ronda at Survivor Series? But she had to go through Shayna Baszler in order to do so. We'll see that next week. Speaking of that, we know that Roman Reigns, the the undisputed champion, Roman Reigns, had wanted to have a special message, a special moment with the Usos. He wanted to do in the ring. And, they was gonna do in the ring later on in the show, but we'll talk about that coming up. But a huge return. This woman right here, Sarah Logan, is back, and she's back with a vengeance. Sarah Logan was the mystery woman after it was supposed to be scheduled B-Fab versus Selena Vega. I guess Selena Vega knew, and B-Fab got out of the ring, and we found out that Hit Row and Lata Tasma got attacked by Sarah Logan, her goons, the Viking Raiders. They are back, and they are back with a vengeance, and they trying to do some chaos and damage. I don't know what's going on, but Sarah Logan is back. She's back to show that she's not here to play. And we'll see what does Sarah Logan have in store for the rest of the people, especially on SmackDown. With she's leading the vicious Viking Raiders. Is she gonna lead them to tag team glory? We'll find out. And finally, the bloodline. The bloodline, you say, is right. Roman Reigns, flanked by his special counsel, Paul Heyman, and the Universal Tag Team, Undisputed Tag Team Champions, the Usos, who had an impressive night tonight, defeating, and Solo Sakai as well. The Usos had an impressive night tonight, defeating the New Day to become the longest reigning tag team champions of the modern day era, and they're closer to surpass Demolition's record. But they're the longest reigning modern tag team champions of all time. Well, we know that the Usos, Roman and Solo, had a special moment. We didn't know what that special moment was, but we kind of figured it had to do with Survivor Series coming up. And what special moment was? Roman came out there with his boys, his cousins, the Usos, and them. But Roman Reigns, smelling the glories, smelling the atmosphere of what you like to say. Roman Reigns doing the thing until the Brawling Brutes and a returning Sheamus return out of nowhere to confront Roman, and they confronted Roman indeed. And what happened was a Pier 6 brawl. The the Roman Drew McIntyre came out there and everything just went crazy. Left. As you saw right there, the wrong picture, but you saw right there, Drew McIntyre's back, and that kind of gives me an indication that at Survivor Series, we're gonna have the Bloodline versus I don't know Sheamus team, Drew, the Brawling Brutes. I would say the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes at Survivor Series, and we could see that match. We'll see it probably at Survivor Series coming up. But they continue to brawl. The brawl continue on. We don't know what's going on. We'll probably get word that it's going to be a male War Games match between the Bloodline at Survivor Series. The Bloodline will take on the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre at Survivor Series. So we should look forward to see that coming up soon. All right. That ends the SmackDown Ring Report. Let's move quickly. The Wrestling Hot Topics. Wrestling Hot Topics. We're talking about this. CM Punk making his first post appearance since the whole scuffle of AEW, since we don't know what's going down. CM Punk returning to a UFC pre-show fight or some little minor fight. He's back. He looks the same, but he didn't make mention of what's going on. There's talks of him, AEW trying to buy him out. So that we'll just have to wait and see on that and how that's going to play. CM Punk looking all smiling and happy of what's going on. He didn't make mention of it. So CM Punk making his first post appearance since the AEW scrum. What's going on with that? So we know this coming up Monday on Raw. Seth Rollins, the United States champion, barely got away with defending the championship against Theory after they was quickly burying the man Theory. Well, Seth Rollins take on Finn Balor, who's been who knows a thing or two about being buried, owned by the last administration. He goes against Seth next week, so we'll see that match as well. Also, on an interesting note, Bobby Lashley has appeared in all of the Saudi Arabia shows, as you see right here, all the matches. Bobby Lashley, kind of like he won some, he lost some, so hey, it is what it is. All right. Trying to see what else we can talk about before we head out. This is what the New Day wrote. New Day wrote that about their legacy, about what's going on. That they didn't win the titles, but their legacy is intact of what they had done. And the New Day winning gold for the didn't win the gold tonight, but they are champions at heart. And that's what it's all about by New Day. New Day didn't have to win the gold, but they leave out with, being champions in their hearts. So, hey, didn't win the gold from the Usos, but they were just a showing of what they had to go through tonight in order to do so. All right. That's going to do it for us here on the Pro Wrestling Show in this week. We thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I've been your host, Kendra Dixon. We'll see you next week, and maybe we might get some indication on what's going down at Survivor Series. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week for the Raw Ring Report. I've been your host, Kendra Dixon, saying so long, and y'all have a happy, prosperous weekend.